Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas here with Charlotte Sennheiser, the director of the Canton Classic Car Museum, who knows more about cars than anyone else I know in the world. And we go back and back and back. But the Canton Classic Car Museum is more than cars.
Oh, and I'm so glad you phrased it that way, because my tagline is so much more than cars.
I forgot the so much.
We truly, truly are. And, you know, when we did open in 1978, and I really want to stress that, I mean, the tenure of this museum is just, I think, amazing that we've been here that many years. And so when we opened, we really were a bunch of old cars, and through the years we've evolved and segued into stuff. In fact, I like to call it, Susie, Ohio's greatest antique memorabilia and nostalgia museum, truly a stroll down memory lane. Now, I know that sounds a little cliched, but it really is. From the moment you walk in the door, you see people, they just start like, wow. It's this wow factor, because you can look to the left and see posters. You can look to the right and see little pedal cars. You can look straight ahead and see toys. And you can see, you know, a couple of my favorite signages are dinner choices, take it or leave it. You know, that's pretty interesting. And, you know, there's signs and toys. I'm looking out my office at Rudy the Reindeer Ride, and, you know, just looking around at Lincoln Highway stuff. And so it really is. And I love to see people come in and spend time. I love to see them embrace it and read things and talk to each other and say, I remember this, or did you know this? And to be engaged in a museum. I spoke one time at a school, and I asked them, the first question is, how many of you have ever been to a museum? Of course, they all raised their hands. And my second question was, how many of you think museums are the greatest, most interesting, fabulous, funnest places on earth?
Yeah.
And not one of them raised their hands.
Really?
And I said, you know what's not fun and what's interesting? All of you. I said, because my museum is, and you have to come in with an open mind and look at all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then I gave my presentation, and not that I'm tooting my own horn, but once they understood what museums can offer, they're like, wow, we never thought of it that way. And I think even adults, not just children. You know, you get this mindset, like museums are old and smelly and I don't want to go, but they're not.
Oh, no.
They're engaging. And if you engage yourself, you'll get so much more out of it.
It's so much fun that you would be giving tours, I'm sure, to the more senior citizens in our area that would be going through everything saying, oh, I played with this and we had this. And
well, you know what their biggest thing is? Because of the shows that are emulating how much things are worth, like why'd I get rid of this and why'd I sell it at the garage sale?
No kidding. Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, oh, I remember that. How much? Wonder how much that's worth. Or, ooh, you know, and
exactly.
it is. You know, with those shows like, you know, that are on television now, you start to wonder, like, wow, I had that, and how much is that worth, or how much could I have gotten for that? So I hear that a lot. It makes them sort of snicker. And
are you able to kind of tell them what the going price of some of these things are?
I cannot. I don't do that. I just know the things I had when I was a child are worth a lot of money, and I hate to admit that my toys are being called antique, Susie.
Well, I hate to admit that too, but the value, they are valued enough that they are now in a museum.
Yeah, well, and in fact, it's funny.
Itself.
I brought many of my things in here, and it just makes me snicker.
Oh, it's your own toys?
They are, and you know, even I had some rolls of film. Who would have thought that film would be in a museum?
Exactly.
But children have never seen it, and they're like, "What is that?" It goes in a camera. What do you mean it goes in a camera? But we just push a button; it's digital, you know. So
you mean a machine other than my phone?
Exactly.
That's the other group that I think so interesting is children have got to go through this and wonder what some of these things are, right?
They do, and I love it when they come through with their grandparents especially, and parents as well. But today we've had a lot of children out today. I'm not quite sure if there's a school that's not in session, maybe out of the state. You know, we get a lot of out-of-state visitors, and just to see that, and where he was crouched down at child level, must have been a grandson, and just talking, saying, look at this, come here, honey, I want to tell you what this is. And it really touches my heartstrings, because that's what it's all about. Because, you know, these are history lessons. You know, these are things that when they're gone, and nobody to explain them, and nobody to discuss how you use that. You know, my grandmother had a rug beater one time, and some lady was adorning it at the flea market, and my grandma was just shaking her head, and my grandma said, what are you going to do with that? And she said, I'm going to hang it on my wall very proudly. And my grandmother said, do you know what it is? She said, oh, yes, you beat your rugs with it. And she said, honey, if you'd have beat as many rugs as I had, you wouldn't adorn that thing. You'd plug in your Hoover and throw that thing in the trash. So, you know, just that funny story there that my grandmother, in fact, it's funny, my grandmother's passed on now, and I have 2 rug beaters in my laundry room. And I giggle every time I see them, because she would just think, plug in your Hoover, honey, and get rid of those rug beaters.
Yeah, forget those. Those were work.
Right.
That was too much work. But we look at them as a nice art piece.
We do.
Nostalgia.
And she worked them.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know, so I see that here. I hear those kind of stories, and it just is, it's awesome. And plus the car stories. We have fabulous cars here. I mean, we are a car museum. And we have so many cars, century old. We have a 1903, we have a 1914, and a 1916. I mean, these are over 100 years old, 113 years old, 102 years old. I mean, it's just amazing to see the evolution of automobiles, and they're still here. You know, I always tell people, I want you to park your car outside for 25 years, catch it on fire, and then go bang on your fender. Because we do have a car here that's what happened to.
Oh, my
And they're like,
goodness.
seriously? And I said, yeah, I want you. And it won't happen. You know, I wonder now in years to come, what are people going to view in museums?
What's built well enough to last to
Exactly.
be in a museum. Talk about some of the more unusual things that are there.
I will. I told you about the Holmes, which I am very passionate about since it was built here in Canton. The Bandit car, or the Studebaker, the police car, the 1937 Studebaker police car, fully bulletproof, is probably one of the best here. The great history of Canton being called Little Chicago because of that Lincoln Highway, easy to get in and easier to get out, brought a lot of colorful characters, including Mr. Al Capone.
Some crime, yes.
So, yes, the crime, and it's a great car. It has 3,000 pounds of 10-gauged armored plating that cost $1 per pound. Now, Susie, in 1937, 3,000 pounds at $1 a pound, that's $3,000 just for the plating. That's a lot of money.
Oh, my.
Not including the $800 for the car, the bullet-resistant inner tubing in the tires. The windows are 1 1/8 inches thick. You know, it's got gun ports to shoot out. You've just got to feel it. I mean, you can feel this car. You can feel it has just such a great expression. You know the movie Cars?
Yes.
You know, people used to say, "Sure, don't you wish your cars talked?" And I said, "How do you know they don't?"
They
because
kind of do.
You know, you can look at the grills of these cars, and I
Yes.
can hear them. I know what their voices would sound like, and this police car would be like, "Yeah, let's go," you know,
Yes.
let's take them down, and it's
So-
just a great car.
Now, would that police car have been local? Would it have been driven
It was
around
Canton
here?
police car, and the holdup they used it, the most famous holdup they used it was in actually Louisville, Ohio.
Wow.
Back in August of 1957, several young men robbed a grocery store in Fairhope, which is west of town on 153, and shot a cop, I understanding, and then took off going east through Louisville and took a family hostage. So
I've
that
got to-
car literally saved a family because
Yes.
they came shooting tear gas and the young men surrendered.
And you
because-
can see that car, that
Yes, you
very
can.
one.
Yes, and
there
I
at the
really wish,
Canton
I'm a
Classic Car
purist, so
Museum.
sometimes I wish they were all original. We did restore this car about 15 years ago, and it's beautiful now, but I liked the green glass and the shattering. I liked all of that, but, you know, most people don't. You know, I like to see original stuff, so it has a lot of character, but it's still a fabulous car with a great history. And I have that sign put up again so people can read about that story and about the car. They can actually see the car at the farm when it came to save that family.
Wow. Now that's my next question. How do you know the stories that go with each of these cars? When someone donates one, or are these sometimes on loan and
Well-
they give you the stories that go along with them?
Well, I've been here 30 years, and I was 5 when I started.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, okay, Susan.
You were very young. I thought there were child labor laws
Yeah,
even
okay.
then, weren't there?
We are on a Christian radio station.
Yeah, we are. Okay.
You know, there are cars, and Marsh Belden, this is a privately owned collection, and he was the car aficionado, and he told me stories about, these were his cars. So I got to learn a lot from him, and the passion for him, not just to own them, but to ingest them. And,
Yeah.
And it was a great story. Now, since then, we've sold cars and have things on loan, so I try to research. Even if I don't know the personal history of a car, I'm going to delve into it as much as I can and find personal history on it, as far as even the company and the men who designed it. So hopefully every time I speak to someone about a car, I bring it to life in some shape or form, whether it's cubic inch displacement or whether it's the year they were built or how many they were built or who was the coach designer. Hopefully I bring a little element of uniqueness to that versus just telling them it's a Packard or a Pontiac or a Chevy or, you know, a Pierce Arrow. So.
We're speaking with Charlotte Sennheiser. She is a woman who I'm guessing can change her own oil, and also the director of the Canton Classic Car Museum. How generous of Marsh Belden to share that with the community, isn't it? It's
I'm thrilled that all those years ago that he had the vision to do this, and his wife to put up to do the curating at that time, and that it's still here, and what a treasure. You know, my adage is that people will travel 1,000 miles to see to see a ball of string, but they typically won't see what's in their own backyard. And I would encourage anyone, backyard is anywhere you don't have to travel and stay for days and days. And we are backyards to Pittsburgh and all those places. And we do have a great amount of visitors, but, you know, local people, it's just a treasure. And I love it when people say, I've been going past this for 25 years, and I finally stopped in. And I'm like, well, great. I'm glad you finally did.
Yes.
But, we take it for granted that things are always going to be there. I'll get there tomorrow. I'll see it tomorrow. It's always going to be in my hometown. And
Good point.
Sometimes that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know we're going to be here, but, I would encourage people to come and enjoy what's in your own backyard, whether it's my place or down the street or any of the other tourist venues. We have some great stuff to offer, Susie, in Canton, Stark County. We are just inundated with tour and travelism and great stuff. People travel here. We have people from Germany and Poland and Russia. They come here, and we're fortunate we're already here. We just have to walk out our doors.
True. We have so much, and that is the theme of this program, our community. We have so much going on here. And is there going to be a way that the Canton Classic Car Museum can somehow partner with Hall of Fame Village and bring in all the football theme as well?
I will do. This is for anyone at the Hall. I will do anything you want. I will help you. I will be there. I want to be a part of all of that great. I'm just in awe of what's planned and what it's going to do for Canton, Stark County.
Amen.
I can't even comprehend what it can do for tourism here in our area. I mean, the Hall of Fame's been iconic. I remember as a kid seeing it go up and just looking at the growth over the years. And I do tag on. I'm a car museum, but if I say I'm from Canton, Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, they're like, oh, yeah. So I'm good. I'm great. I love to partner with all those people. They're wonderful in the tourism industry. They are my friends. They are my colleagues. We've got a great working relationship. So anything I can do, I'm there.
And a rising tide raises all boats.
Yep.
It's all good. Mm-hmm. All right, real quick, we've got to go. But real quick, give us a website or phone number, an address where people find you.
All to you. Our website's cantonclassiccar.org, www.cantonclassiccar.org. Phone number 330-455-3603. We are open 7 days a week, 10 to 5. You can't tell me a time that you can't get here because we're open all those days with the exception of the 4 major holidays.
Awesome. Charlotte Sennheiser, thanks for joining us.
You're happy motoring.
On our community.